The person who does not give love easily is not withholding it from you. They are withholding it from themselves. You see distance and call it coldness. You are watching a survival mechanism that has become who they are. They do not understand missing you. Missing requires a memory that does not burn. Every recollection they carry has a blade on the reverse side. They do not store people. They store lessons. And the lesson of love was that it arrives with a price they are still paying. So they define it first. They take every step with precision. Not because they are calculating, because the last time they gave it without definition, they lost something they never recovered. You are thinking this is about them. That thought is the protection. It lets you believe you are the safe one. You believe they are withholding from you. They are protecting themselves from a ghost you cannot see. The quiet truth is, you cannot earn what they have already concluded does not exist for them. Your need to fix them is the final proof. Where does this begin? Not in a single wound. In a childhood where need was either punished or proved unreliable. The child who asked and was met with absence learns to stop asking. The child who asked and was met with volatility learns that wanting is dangerous. Both children grow into adults who have replaced need with self-sufficiency so completely that they no longer recognize the replacement as a replacement. They believe it is character. They call it independence. They call it discernment. They have 100 names for what is essentially one thing. The learned conviction that attachment is a risk that outweighs its reward. This is not stubbornness. This is architecture. The nervous system does not negotiate with the adult who now wants connection. It responds to cues established decades earlier. A text goes unanswered not because the person is cruel, but because the opened message triggers a somatic state that predates the phone itself. The body remembers what the mind has reframed. The reframing is part of the mechanism. They will say they are busy. They will say they are overwhelmed. They will say they need space. These statements are not lies. They are translations of a physiological event they have never learned to name in its original language. You thought of someone else just now. That is the protection working. The mind assigns this observation to the difficult partner, the distant parent, the friend who never fully arrives. That assignment keeps you from asking whether you too have concluded that love exists more safely in theory than in practice. The mechanism is democratic. It does not respect your self-image as open, as warm, as available. It respects only what your behavior repeatedly demonstrates. Watch what happens in the body of such a person when someone moves toward them with unguarded affection. The shoulders tighten, the breathing shallows. The mind generates reasons why this person is wrong, why the timing is bad, why there must be an angle. These are not thoughts they choose. They are symptoms of a system defending its integrity. The fortress does not announce itself as a fortress. It announces itself as good judgment, as self-respect, as not settling. The language is always contemporary. The structure is always old. In work, this person is reliable. They meet deadlines. They do not disappoint colleagues. The same system that cannot tolerate emotional intimacy excels at transactional reliability, because transactions have clear terms. You know what you owe. You know what you will receive. There is no drift, no ambiguity, no moment when the floor becomes uncertain beneath your feet. They are often promoted. They are often praised for their steadiness. No one sees that the steadiness is the flip side of the same pattern. They perform well in structured relating, because unstructured relating registers as threat. In friendship, they are present for crisis. They will arrive at the hospital. They will help you move. They will send the check. What they cannot do is the daily unscripted exposure of ordinary intimacy. The phone call with no purpose. The vulnerability that does not resolve into action. The sitting together without a task to mediate the contact. They experience this as viscosity. Time slows. The boundaries blur. They need to leave, to restore the frame, to remember where they end and the other person begins. The intelligent person's version of this is particularly difficult to witness. They have read the literature. They can name their attachment style. They can describe the mechanism with precision that would satisfy any clinician. This knowledge becomes another layer of defense. They are not avoidant. They are self-aware. They are not distant. They are honoring their boundaries. The vocabulary of healing becomes vocabulary for the same old stillness. They attend therapy not to change, but to understand why change is not possible. Understanding substitutes for movement. Insight becomes the consolation prize. The high achievers version is different in texture but identical in structure. They are never more productive than when someone is trying to get close. The work expands to fill every available hour. The achievement accumulates. The person who wanted to know them is placed in the position of waiting, of accommodating, of eventually leaving or accepting a peripheral role. The high achiever then experiences this as confirmation. See, people leave. The pattern self-seals. The achievement is both genuine and functional. It provides real value in the world and simultaneously keeps the world at the distance where it feels manageable. I have watched this across thousands of human accounts. What I find remarkable is not the suffering it causes. Suffering is common. What I find remarkable is how little knowing changes. The person who recognizes their pattern does not typically alter it. They recognize it. They discuss it. They may even grieve it. The fortress remains. From outside the mechanism, what is most striking is not how often it fails people. It is how reliably it protects them from finding out what would happen if they lowered the gate. The cost accumulates invisibly. In the early decades, there is little apparent price. They function. They succeed by metrics that matter to others. The cost is in what they do not experience. And because they do not experience it, they cannot miss it. This changes. Somewhere in the middle years, usually without warning, they encounter a moment of genuine safety. A person who does not leave. A situation that does not punish their openness. In these moments, the mechanism itself becomes the enemy. They feel the walls from inside. They understand that the protection has become the prison. They understand this without knowing what to do about it. The reflex to withdraw is faster than the intention to stay. The deeper cost is identity. They have believed themselves to be strong, to be whole, to be undamaged by what damaged them. This belief is not vanity, it is structural. If they are not strong, they are the child again, vulnerable to the very things they survived. The fortress is not merely behavioral, it is who they have become. To question it is to question the self. This is why awareness rarely dissolves the pattern. Awareness operates at the level of narrative. The pattern operates at the level of survival physiology. The narrative can know while the body continues its vigilance. The late cost is specific and sharp. They meet someone they genuinely cannot categorize. Someone whose presence does not trigger the usual defenses. Someone who makes the fortress feel unnecessary and therefore suddenly visible. These encounters are rare and brief. The person with the fortress has little practice in sustaining unguarded connection. They either retreat to restore equilibrium, or they advance with a clumsiness that frightens them, that confirms their oldest fears, that sends them back behind the wall with fresh evidence that openness is catastrophic. What happens to those who become aware? Usually, they become aware repeatedly. The awareness itself becomes part of the loop. They see the pattern. They resolve to change. They encounter the bodily resistance. They interpret this resistance as wisdom, as readiness not yet achieved, as needing more time. The time never comes. The rare exception requires something the pattern itself prevents, sustained contact with the very vulnerability the pattern was built to avoid. The exception happens when someone stays through the withdrawal, when someone does not punish the testing, when someone demonstrates over time that the feared outcome does not arrive. This requires a person with unusual patience and unusual boundaries of their own. It also requires the person in the fortress to recognize that their own behavior is the variable, not the other person's persistence. Most cannot sustain this recognition long enough for the nervous system to learn a new response. Your need to fix them is the final proof, because it preserves your position outside the dynamic. You are the one who sees clearly. You are the one who could love them properly. This narrative keeps you from examining your own relation to love that arrives without guarantee, to connection that does not need your intervention to justify itself. The fortress and the siege engine are sometimes the same person in different costumes. The one who cannot be reached, and the one who cannot stop reaching toward the unreachable, are often performing complementary patterns, each confirming the other's story about how love works in a dangerous world. The person who does not give love easily is not withholding it from you. They are withholding it from themselves. This is not because you are insufficient. It is because they have never recovered from learning what love costs. The question is not whether you can earn entry. The question is whether you have been honest about what you are seeking at the gate.